So what do I have to say about the racism? I think that's a very sensitive topic, because everyone has a different experience, and I personally, just as a disclaimer, I don't think I am representative of like what other like foreigners or other black people especially can like experience here in France, mainly because I think I've been living in a bubble. I've not had much experience with racism, at least not open racism, because in France, from what I can tell and from what I've heard, the racism is generally more subtle. So people would not like come to your face and be aggressive, but they would like just kind of slip it in there, you know. So and those instances are easier to miss. I stopped caring, basically, you know, because when I first came here, my first reflex whenever you enter into a room is to count the number of black people, you know, and that's always how it starts. You start by counting the number of black people, and then you realize, okay, there are only 2 black people, or I'm the only black person, which has also happened. I'm the only black person in this room. So once you've already like mentally like registered that fact, then you start having this inner dialogue about, now I need to prove myself, now I need to prove that I'm good enough, now this, now that. Like if anyone does anything to me, I'll always be wondering, is it because I'm black? Is it because I'm the only black person in this room? So it's really like, it starts small, but then it starts eating you up on the inside. And that's when I realized, you know what, this is not healthy. Like, if you're looking for racism, you'll find it in every single thing, you know, in any little thing you'll find racism. So I decided to stop looking for it and just to like turn off that, you know, counter in my head that would always try to pinpoint like the number of black people in the room. And I just told myself, this is just statistics. France is a predominantly white country. When you enter into the room, statistically speaking, it's very likely you will be the only black person, or there will only be 2 or 3 or just a handful. And there's nothing you can do about that. But it's the same everywhere in the world. It's the same in Kenya. When you enter into a room, chances are there will be no white person, or only one white person. So it's like, once you look at it as just statistics, it kind of takes off that pressure of, okay, I'm black or not, you know? And so from there, I think that really helped me a lot to stop caring too much about, am I the only black person? It made a big difference. And so I stopped thinking of myself as another black person in this room, but as another student in this classroom. Because at the end of the day, that's why I came to France. I came to study. So I just thought of myself as a student. And I remembered what I was as a student back in Kenya. I was like, yeah, I was a good student back then. Why can't I still be a good student right now? And so I tried to apply that, and just to focus on, you know, what I came here to do, focus on my studies, and, you know, trying to do a good job without feeling that pressure of, do I need to prove myself? Do I need to prove that as a black person I can measure up? Because honestly, there's no such thing. I mean, if you've already been admitted, it means you're good enough. You know, if you got the admission letter, if you got the visa, you're already in that classroom, there's nothing else you need to prove. You just need to focus and do your work and pass, you know. So like, everything else is just the devil trying to disturb your peace, you know. So yeah, like once I really just started like changing that mentality, I was more at peace with myself. I was more confident, because I would stand up in front of the classroom and thinking, I'm going to do a killer presentation, not because I'm black, but because I'm just good, because why not? I've worked hard for it, you know. So like, once you start having that confidence, everyone else will kind of acknowledge you without even noticing it, without realizing it. You'll stop being the only black person, just being, it's that smart person, you know. And I think the French system, the French education system, is kind of designed it's designed to highlight good students, or to highlight your performance more than your, like, the color of your skin. I know it's such a bold statement to say that, because some people say, the system is still biased, the system is still racist, possibly. But from what I've experienced in the education system, and also in a professional setting, all that matters is your results. Are you a good student? Are you an efficient worker? That's what really matters. And once you can, you know, once you focus and you do what you're here to do, at the end of the day, people will forget you're black, you know? So it's like, yeah, you stop caring about that and focus on what you need to focus on, and it will reduce your chances of also having an identity crisis. Because once you start, like, if you keep labeling yourself as black, yeah, I'm black, or you own it, but then you move on. Like, that should not be a defining factor. You move on from that. So, like, if you keep reminding yourself, I'm black, I'm the only black person, I have to be careful, you know, if you keep reminding yourself of that, at some point you're going to start doubting yourself. Like, why am I here? Am I in this school because I deserve it, or because I'm the only black person and they just wanted to have statistics to be able to say that this school is diverse, so they invited black people? Like, you start asking yourself such questions, you start doubting your abilities, you know, am I smart enough or not? Like, and like, it's really it just goes downhill from there, you know. You know, stop caring about how many black people there are. Stop caring about the fact that you're black, because think about it. When you're in Kenya, when have you ever wondered, am I black or not? I mean, yeah, you look at yourself in the mirror and you're black, and that's it, you move on. Yeah, you can look like, oh, you know, how is my hair today? How are my eyebrows? But you don't say, how is my skin? Am I black? You know, like, so, like, just move on from that. Focus on everything else. And I think that having that mentality is what helped me. But then again, I speak for myself personally, because I've also not had instances where someone was really aggressive to my face, like, you know, like really racist and really aggressive, like, you know. So yeah, I've kind of been living in a bubble, and also just kind of surrounded myself with people who are generous and kind, and I've not really noticed that kind of stuff. And also, I think if you're planning to come to France, if you have a choice, you should choose bigger towns, or what they call, you know, ville étudiante, which are like university towns where they have many foreign students. So these are places that tend to be more open-minded, because they're just used to seeing so many foreigners. So you have less of that racism going on. But yeah, and I think also it's funny, because like I said about not caring. For me, when someone does something bad to me or rude, I just take it as this is a person being rude to another person. I don't take it as this is a white person being rude to a black person. Is it racism? You know? So I just react to the same way I would react if a black person were being rude. So, and one thing I noticed is that also helped me to kind of ignore so many of the things that happen around me. So I've possibly had many racist incidents I didn't even notice. I just let them slide, I didn't even notice. I went to a restaurant with a group of friends from school, and I was the only black person in the group, of course. And so we wanted to take a photo at the end of the meal. So the waiter came and he was like, I can take the photo for you. And he was like, I think he was North African, you know, like those Maghrebian countries. So he was North African, and he wanted to take the picture. So as he was taking the picture, he made this comment. He's like, I can only see your teeth, meaning I'm so black. And then he left, and he was saying, and he laughed, and then he left. And so like the other friends who were there, like the white girls, like they were so concerned. Like my friend was like, I'm so sorry, he was just joking, please don't take it seriously, please don't be offended, I'm so sorry, he didn't mean it. And then I'm like, dude, relax. Like, I've been hearing that since I was in primary school. I'm so black, you can only see my teeth. Like, that is so 2003. So like, yeah, for me, I didn't take it as a racist comment. It probably is, but I didn't take it as such, because, you know, that's something that my fellow black Kenyans have been telling me growing up. So I just took it as another stupid joke, you know. So I'm not saying it's good to to downplay everything and to be oblivious to everything, but it certainly helps. It helps. As I was talking to this person, and he was a doctor, and I was telling him how I am like too active and too hyper, like I try to be active all the time. I'm very driven, you know, very goal oriented, and like when I'm not productive, I feel guilty, like I'm wasting time, you know, I want to always be doing better. And so he made this comment. He said something like, wow, I'm surprised to see how this Western mentality of, you know, you have to be productive has found its way even into African cultures. I was like, what? Like, okay, that is correction. That is not Western mentality. That is what my mom taught me. So it's really like, yeah, that's when I realized, okay, this person, like, what are you saying? Like, Africans can't be hardworking on their own. Like, it has to come from the West. Like, that's nonsense. So when I was, it was a group. It was like a meeting with some people in the church, and so they were talking about missionaries in Africa and whatnot, and someone said something like it was the Western mission. It was the missionaries who brought God to Africans. And so at that point, like, stop. I had to correct him. Like, this is just ignorant. I had to correct him and say, you brought Christianity, but you didn't bring God. Like, God already existed. And the proof is that in all the African languages, the word for God existed already. So, like, you can't say you brought us Christianity. No, you can't say you brought us God. You brought us Christianity, which is a totally different thing. But the notion of God has always been there. So there's some times where people are just, they say things that come off as racist, but they're really just being ignorant. And in instances like those, you might get offended, which is normal, but at the end of the day, you just rather correct the person. Take a step back and ask yourself, maybe this person is just being ignorant and he needs to be educated. I think this video should be how to make your own bubble when it comes to racism. Like how to just cruise your way through living in a foreign land without being affected. And you will always have a moment where you get affected, but I think for the most part it can be avoided just by changing your mentality, knowing yourself, being proud of yourself, and just moving on, from the whole black or white. Just moving on and live as you would back home, just because we really didn't care growing up. Like, who's white, who's black, no one cares, So yeah, just kind of move past that and focus on why you're really here, and you'll hopefully have a great time and yeah, great experience. And yeah, I guess that's it. Disclaimer again. This is just me. This is just me.
Okay, thank you very much, Lydia, for answering this question. Many people have been asking.
But I think, as I said, the mentality, like your own mentality and your own outlook really plays a lot. It helps. It helps to stay positive. It helps to kind of just ignore all the negativity and just focus on why you're here and yeah, enjoy your life. Yeah.
Thank you once again.
Thank you for having me. It's been great. It's been fun. I hope it's helpful.
If you've watched up until now, big ups, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you
very much. Thank you for liking our videos and subscribing always. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe down below and tell us in the comment section what you think, and if you've ever had any experience or how you cope with it, anything you would like to tell us anyway.
Yeah, please educate me. I'm so ignorant in the matter.
Let's get her out of the bubble.
Out of the bubble, yeah.
As a custom, we always have a verse at the end of the video, and Lydia will be sharing the verse today.
Yeah, I think it's a very appropriate verse for the topic of today. So this is Songs of Songs, chapter 1, verse 5. It says, "Women of Jerusalem, I am dark but beautiful, dark as the desert tents of Kedar, but beautiful as the draperies in Solomon's palace." So I think it's very important to remember that, like the color of your skin it's beautiful. And when you come here, don't think I'm just another black person. Think I'm just another beautiful person. Yeah,
for sure.
It's not me. It's the word of God.
I'm black and beautiful.
I'm black and beautiful. Exactly.
And in many instances, the Bible tells us we are wonderfully made. Yeah. We are beautiful. Yeah. So keep reminding yourselves that, and you'll have a wonderful time. Maybe even close to Lydia's, where you have no experience of racism at all. So thank you so much, Lydia, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, guys.
Bye.